Florida State head coach Mike Norvell has long been known for his offensive coaching ability. While there are many things that make him stand out amongst his peers, some of which I've already covered on this channel, one of the most interesting things he does comes before the play even begins. He is a master at using unbalanced formations to find and exploit certain matchups. Before we jump in, it might be helpful to define what I mean by an unbalanced formation. In my definition, balance implies that there are the same number of wide receivers and tight ends on each side of the ball. I'll generally refer to this as a 2x2 set, with 2 receivers on each side of the ball, whereas really anything else falls into the category of an unbalanced formation. Usually these are 3x1 sets or 2x1 depending on the alignment. Norvell's offense operates almost exclusively using these unbalanced formations. In FSU's spring game, Norvell only called 7 total plays out of balanced formations. All of these came in the last few minutes of the final quarter, and all but one came with Tate Rodemaker at quarterback. These balanced sets usually spread out the field a little bit better and give more room to make these quick rhythm throws that Rodemaker is used to. They went to an air raid staple in this stick play that does a good job of spreading the field out horizontally and making the throws pretty easy on the quarterback. However, this isn't how Norvell wants to operate. He doesn't want to mindlessly hunt for space. His style is much more cerebral. He loves to use unbalanced sets to search for the best matchups. This play stood out as one of the biggest of the spring game. Here, FSU lines up in trips, which puts extra stress on the secondary. There's only one safety on this play who's responsible for anything deep in the middle of the field. This slot tight end streaks up the field, which occupies the safety, and essentially leaves this boundary corner with a one-on-one matchup. Norvell is hunting for these, and he expects his team to win these matchups every time. In the very next play, FSU lines up an empty. The defense adjusts and puts 2 safeties deep, and since these corners are eyeing their man, it looks to be cover 2 man. Milton knows that this safety is responsible for a good portion of the field here, and if he can get the ball out quick enough, he can get the man matchup he's looking for. These kind of vertical routes and back shoulder throws are usually based on timing, which makes them especially difficult to defend in man coverage. Here's another big play ran out of unbalanced formation. FSU is in what I'll refer to as tray, with 2 receivers and a tight end on one side. They have play action called with a deep post shot. The defense is bringing pressure, which the line does a good job of picking up, and Milton delivers a dime for the big game. From another angle, you can see what went wrong in this play on defense. With any sort of trips formation, this backside safety usually has double duty. Not only does he have to help with assignments on his side of the ball, but he also has to be aware of anything coming back his way from the strong side of the ball. You can see here he hesitates slightly on the play action, which gives Josh Burrell just enough space to make a great play. These unbalanced formations can also be tells for what the defense wants to run. Here FSU spaces their tight end as the number 1 receiver to the boundary side. Since Gainer, an inside linebacker, has followed his assignment outside, it becomes easy to assume that this will be man coverage. Here they pick on that same matchup again. It looks to be cover 1 robber. Since the defenders all have their eyes locked and shoulders facing their receivers, you can assume they are all playing man underneath. There are 2 safeties on this play who are stacked in the middle of the field. The one you can see plays in this intermediate middle of the field, sometimes called the robber zone. There is a deep safety behind him patrolling for any deep routes. Knowing they have man and little help on the outside, Norvell calls up the same hitch fade concept we saw earlier. That means that Gainer now has to defend a decently athletic tight end and a lot of green grass. These unbalanced sets can also add wrinkles to established plays. Here Norvell is running mesh, an old air raid play that Norvell hasn't run yet in his time at Florida State, which looks to spring a receiver open against man coverage through a series of natural picks. However, this becomes even trickier to defend out of trips. The slot tight end stems vertically and adds another pick to the route, which is so successful it becomes hard to even pinpoint who is responsible for this receiver in the first place. Modifications to formations can be a help in the screen game as well. Throughout the game, the second team was unable to pull off any quick screen or tunnel screens. The tight end often wasn't quick enough to reach his man for his block, which made Kevin Knowles look like a superstar. However, a quick adjustment to the formation makes all the difference in the world. This bunch set makes these blocking angles much easier and helps explain the success of the play versus the other one. Norvell uses these sets to hunt for matchups in the running game as well. A common formation in his playbook is this nub tight end formation. Here they call a variation of the wing T play down, which means the play side guard pulls and kicks out this defensive end, which means that this tight end gets to block a smaller corner out in space. He misses the block, but you can't ask for a much better opportunity as a coach. Norvell is one of the better offensive minds in the game, and you could see that even in a watered-down spring game. Even from last year to this, there's been growth in his playbook and the team's comfort operating his system. I expect FSU's offense to take some steps forward this year compared to last, and a lot of that has to come from an increased confidence to execute the favorable matchups that Mike Norvell is able to scheme up. Thanks for watching. Please check out Tomahawk Nation for more great FSU content, and please come back bi-weekly as we'll continue to do our triple option show throughout the offseason. Thanks.